You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, flu season is here. We ask a pharmacist in Missouri what they stock in their medicine cabinet.
Also, authorities upgrade charges to murder in connection with the shooting of an Amazon driver.
And some of us are dry, some of us getting drizzle, all of us eventually getting in on some winter weather. We'll have a look at that forecast to get you out the door coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Elise Snowy.
I'm Chris Warner, just after 7 o'clock now on this Tuesday, February the 11th. And of course, it's been cold. The temperature's been all over the place, and that's leading to people not feeling so well.
Yeah. Well, flu cases are surging in the U.S. and the latest info from the CDC shows doctor visits for flu illnesses have reached the highest level since 2009.
KOAM's Lonnie Walton spoke with a local pharmacist about what you should have in your medicine cabinet to help relieve some of the symptoms.
Delsum over the counter, I recommend if you have a dry hacking cough, taking that every 12 hours just as needed.
Dr. Cody Yoke is the pharmacist at Out Pharmacy in Anderson. If anybody knows a thing or two about flu and cold meds, it would be him. That's why I asked him what's in his cabinet.
So for flu and cold symptoms, I would do the over-the-counter Tylenol severe cold and flu is typically my go-to. It covers multi-symptoms including runny nose, fever, maybe cough and congestion.
And if you have mucus, Dr. York says
Robitussin, which will help if you have mucus congestion in your chest. That'll help break that up.
And I had to stop by the 4 states to see how they deal with those unwanted symptoms.
Resting on the couch, and vitamin C and zinc.
It's got to be a nice, hot, spicy chili.
I drink a lot of fluids or listen to good music.
I drink orange juice.
Just lay around and with a blanket and read.
And drinking a lot of fluids is what it's all about, according to Dr. York.
The more fluids you drink, the easier it is to break that mucus up and get that out of your chest.
And if all this medicine is not your thing, Dr. York says there's a few natural things you can do also.
I like to use peppermint oil. If you're having trouble sleeping, I like to do lavender oil. Maybe a teaspoon or 2 of fresh grated ginger root. That can also help with flu-like symptoms as well.
Reporting in Anderson, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
According to Walgreens Flu Index, Oklahoma ranks #1 in the nation for states with flu activity. Arkansas ranked 4th on the list. Oklahoma City and Tulsa ranked 1 and 7 for designated market areas with flu activity.
You certainly want to make sure you're taking precautions out there, keeping stuff ready to go at home. Make sure, if you start to see the warning signs, take action. Be proactive, not reactive, as best as you can. Of course, a good flu shot doesn't always stop it, but it certainly helps. Well, flu shot will not help with the winter weather because it's going to happen whether you get a flu shot or not. And we are starting to see some of it now. A quick look outside downtown Pittsburgh. Roads in Pittsburgh have been relatively dry. And I say this because there's actually, if you head a little further south, just down to our station, we've had drizzle all the way up to here, but not so much in Pittsburgh as of yet. Then we head down to the MoDOT camera, 20th and Rangeline in Joplin. The camera itself starting to look a little drier. It looks like the drizzle may have come to an end. And again, it's a little hard to tell because drizzle is so finite. A radar beam shooting out is not going to bounce off of it. So it's not going to show up on radar. So unless you're making an actual observation, sometimes it's hard to tell if drizzle is falling. But the roadways are wet, and that leads to a different concern, which we'll talk about in just a moment. The drizzle is also leading to some reduced visibilities out there, so you can kind of see where it's been through the morning. And again, our station probably right about this zone here. So that's why we got reduced visibilities, parts of Cherokee County, Ottawa, Delaware, McDonald, Newton, Jasper, Barton counties out there, Barry, Lawrence County. So nothing major, but still it is dealing with some reduced visibilities. We also have all these fun colors on this map. I like almost all of these colors, but they do mean some unpleasant things depending on your take on winter weather. Winter storm warnings, winter storm watches, winter weather advisories, all of them with varying expiration times, which we'll break down for you in just a few more minutes. We'll have the clouds today. We'll have gusty winds out there as well, occasionally pushing about 20 miles an hour. Our temperature is just kind of hovering in the mid-30s, and it's not going to show up on the future track, but we're going to have the opportunity for some snow showers or light flurries, light wintry mix throughout the day today. Temperatures this morning warmer than yesterday, low to mid-30s, but when you factor in the wind, does not feel like it for most of us. Still feels like the 20s out there. Our temperatures today about the mid-30s. They're not going to move much from where they are right now. Well, those scattered snow showers throughout the day as well. No accumulations expected today, but with the colder air, it could lead to some freezing on bridges and overpasses today, so do keep that in mind. We'll talk about the accumulations and the snow for tomorrow here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Authorities upgrade charges against the man connected with shooting an Amazon driver. Authorities say the Amazon driver, now identified as 23-year-old Jasmine Sky Taylor, was shot while delivering packages off Missouri 97 in Lawrence County last Wednesday. Video footage from the inside of the Amazon vehicle showed Taylor traveling down Highway 97 in Wentworth, where she was shot. Taylor then crashed off the roadway into a fence. Sunday night, Taylor died from her injuries. Investigators say this man, Thomas Coy, confessed to shooting Taylor with a pellet rifle, pulling her from the vehicle and laying her in a ditch. Coy was originally charged with assault and armed criminal action. Authorities say charges have been upgraded to first-degree murder and armed criminal action. Coy remains held without bond in Lawrence County Jail. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. With the recent airplane crashes across the U.S., some travelers may be wondering just how safe it is to fly in an airplane. KOAM's Melissa Alexis spoke with a mental health professional about dealing with flight anxiety.
Flying. It's something that can evoke feelings of anxiety.
It's a very common anxiety-producing thing to do.
And with recent airplane crashes across America, including the American airline collision near D.C., and the medical jet crash just a few days later, it has some people wondering, is it safe to fly?
Even with the incidents that we've had recently, flying is considered, by all the statistics, the safest form of travel that you can engage in, so much more so than driving does. But because we feel like we have so much more control when we're driving than when we're flying, then oftentimes that anxiety ramps up a bit.
According to the National Safety Council, flying is one of the safest modes of transportation. The National Safety Council also says the odds of getting into a motor vehicle crash is 1 in 95, and they consider the odds of being in a fatal airplane crash too small to calculate. Del Camp, the chief clinical officer at the Ozark Center in Joplin, says sometimes social media can skew our perception.
Social media and hyper-focused media on it because it resets your odd makers to where you think it's more likely something like that's going to happen when, as a matter of fact, it's just not.
And he says if your anxiety surrounding flying on airplanes is interfering with either your job or your personal relationships, it could be a good idea to seek professional help.
Sit down and talk with them about what limitations that fear has brought into their lives.
And for people who have mild anxiety when it comes to flying, Del Camp recommends distractions like listening to music or having noise-canceling headphones. He also recommends breathing exercises.
Learning how to box breathe is what it's called. So you breathe in for 4 seconds, you hold it for 7 seconds, and you breathe out for 8 seconds. So you don't hyperventilate in that environment.
And most of all, Del Camp says he doesn't want people to live in fear.
It's the safest, fastest form of it. Certainly much safer than taking the family car and trying to drive across country.
Reporting in Joplin, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
Now, according to the National Safety Council, commercial air travel is considered one of the safest modes of transportation. And those are our top news stories this half hour. Coming up next, Jasmine Kyle invites us to an art gala in support of the SEK Humane Society. Welcome back. We have Jasmine Kyle from the SEK Humane Society with us this morning. She has an invitation to an art gala in support of the Humane Society. Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy to have you here. Look at all of this fun
so
pieces
cute?
of art.
Yeah, so we are blessed. So we have an event returning with us this year. So it is going to be the 3rd annual Family Resource Center Art Gala. Now, these stunning pieces beside me are one of few of the many that the kiddos at the Art Center created by hand. I mean, this is all string and yarn.
Oh, so fun.
And then these were made with different types of materials that the kids could paint on. But every single classroom over at the Resource Center got a canvas to make.
Oh, that's incredible.
It's insane the amount of artwork that these kids can do. And what's really cool about this event is that 100% of the proceeds will go to the fur babies. So that event is tomorrow, Wednesday, from 5:30 to 7:30 at the John Perullo Education Center. Yes, we're keeping a close eye on the weather. What we recommend highly to the public is to keep an eye on the Facebook page, the Doggy Bag Resale Shop, SEK Humane Society. If we have any updates, we'll update everybody, and we'll change the event depending on incoming snow. But if everything is looking good, come meet us, because these will be up for silent auction, all the large ones. But if you don't win your bid, the center has graciously decided to do $5 paper art prints. Okay. So if your kiddo has made one, if you were really in love with a piece and you want a copy of it, they will have them for a $5 donation at the center. Now, the kids are super proud. They really want this to be a fancier event. So we got with our Doggy Bag Resale Shop manager, and we are doing like cookies with little shots of milk and champagne flutes filled with apple juice. So the parents can come and enjoy themselves as they get to see our local young community just get really creative and make these stunning pieces.
Oh, how fun. I'm sure the kids will love it as well. And just to mention as well, you're still having your Valentine's adoption event going on as well, just for a few more days. Just remind folks about that real quick.
Yeah, so all the way through the end of this week, we have our Adopt Your Valentine special. So for any of our adult dogs, 1 year of age and over, they're just $30. And that includes our Foster to Adopt program too. So all of our fur babies, spayed and neutered, microchipped, heartworm tested, up to date on vaccinations. So if you've been thinking to possibly add a new family member into your home, give us a call or put in an application. And again, for that Foster to Adopt, even if it's the last day, we will honor that.
All right, fantastic. Well, good luck on tomorrow's event. You know, fingers crossed that the weather doesn't affect it at all. Be sure to stay up to date with them on their Facebook page, SEK Humane Society. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:17 now on this Tuesday morning. We're going to start with this. Again, 5 different weather service offices cover our area, so we do have, when it comes to winter weather alerts, they're handled by the local offices. So we have a variety of them, all of them with different expiration times just about. All right, let's start with everything that runs through 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. That's the winter storm warnings. You can barely see it, but the winter storm watches and these winter weather advisories. All of that runs through 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. The winter weather advisories for Craig, Newata, and Washington counties in Oklahoma will run through 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. And then the others for Bourbon, Crawford, and Cherokee counties, plus Southwest Missouri, will run through 9 o'clock tomorrow night. So that's what we've got up against us in terms of the advisories. And here's what we're looking at. Now, on the future track today, you're not going to see much of anything. In fact, Skywatch Storm Tracker is starting to show what looks like some light snow in the parts of Greenwood, Elk, and Chautauqua counties. But otherwise, we've had drizzle. We've had light wintry mix throughout the morning, not showing up on the radar because the radar beam can't see it. Future Track doesn't do a good job of picking up on it either, but we will have an opportunity throughout the day for a light wintry mix, light snow showers, light flurries, things like that. And we're not expecting really anything in the way of accumulations today, but with the cold temperatures today, there's going to be that possibility of freezing on bridges and overpasses, so you want to keep that in mind as we go through today. Then we head into tomorrow. We're stopping at 2 a.m. because that's about when the snow really starts to roll in terms of the accumulating snowfall, and that will continue as we go through the day tomorrow. Now, One of the reasons we don't have any winter weather alerts, at least at this point, for Newton, McDonald, Benton, Ottawa, and Delaware counties is because, take a look, this is where the warmer air is expected to be. And so if you're in those counties, we're looking more at rain initially. You could get some freezing rain, could even get some flurries, but it's going to be too warm too long for it to add up to much. Now, you get north of I-44, and that's when we start dealing with the rain, or the snow, rather. So that was 5 a.m. all the way through noon. We're going to be dealing with snow, and this will be accumulating snow, and that will continue through at least noon. Accumulating snow rolls out. We'll be left with a few light flurries, maybe a couple of snow showers here or there as we go through the evening, but the main portion of the snow should be done by about 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So through 9 this evening, as you can see, not much expected. We weren't looking at much yesterday. We're looking at even less today. The accumulations today, not really going to be much of anything. It'll be, of course, picking up as we head into tomorrow, and that's where we're going to get that range of, let's say, a dusting to 3 inches from down south up to I-44, so south of I-44. Let's say I-44 to 126 roughly. We're talking anywhere from, we can say 3 to 5 inches, and then you get north of that, that's where we could see in some locations some heavier amounts, and that's why, of course, we have those winter storm watches and warnings in our far northern counties. Quick look outside. See, the roadways are wet. We've had that drizzle all morning long in Joplin. 33. It does feel like 27 with a northeast breeze at 7. Across the region, temperatures are technically warmer than yesterday, but the wind chills, it feels just like it did yesterday. But we are in the low to mid 30s out there. The thing is, the temperatures will not move much. We'll have that wintry mix, snow showers, cold air, cloudy skies, hanging out in the low 30s with our highs today about the mid 30s. Our lows tonight into the low 30s, about 32. So we're looking at a high tomorrow of about 33 early. And now for our northern Cape, it'll start up north and then eventually down south, but temperatures will begin to fall through the day. So we'll have early highs, breezy. We'll have the snow, the wintry weather tomorrow, down to the teens tomorrow night. Cold on Thursday, a little warmer Friday and Saturday with some rain chances on Saturday. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more right after this. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, and our very good friend Charlene Patton from the Kansas Soybean Commission joining us this morning. Welcome. Always great to have you, and you've got something fantastic from the Soy Foods Guide, which you told me there's some changes. We'll get to that, but this is great for Valentine's Day.
Oh, it sure is, and there's a kind of a 3-part to this recipe, so it might be one you want to make ahead of time a little bit.
Okay.
And then it'll be all ready. First, I made the crust. And this is just a great crust that you make with oatmeal and brown sugar and honey, and you put that in your oven and kind of bake it a little bit to almost like a granola. And
yeah, that's what it kind of looks like in there. So
and then I put it in the food processor and whirled it all up to make it very fine, added some butter to it, and then put it in there and baked it a little bit. And you can see how nice then that holds up to make it.
Yeah, that looks really nice.
Then I made the caramel sauce, and that might be something you want to do ahead of time too.
Okay.
And then you can warm it up just a little bit if it starts to solidify. Then this is the cheesecake part, and this is extra firm tofu. And I put that in the food processor too, to whip it up so it's all nice and smooth. Now you could do all this next part in your food processor, but I put it in here in a bowl so that we can kind of see what we're doing.
Yeah.
You're going to add a cup of granulated sugar that I'm going to stir in. Yes.
We'll get that in there.
Start stirring. And then you have 1/4 of a cup of vegetable oil. So we now have 2 soy ingredients that are in here. I'll just stir that. And then the next ingredients are vanilla there, and you have lemon juice and a little bit of salt.
Okay.
Put that together, and that makes it nice and creamy there. Perfect. Well, we make a good team there.
We certainly do.
Now, that's nice and smooth.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to pour this into our spring form pan. And this will spread that out, get all that in there. There we go. And then the caramel sauce that we made ahead of time, and it has kind of a special ingredient. It has miso in it, which is another soybean ingredient that just gives it a little extra flavor. And we're just going to pour that caramel sauce over How does that look?
That looks pretty good. I mean, the finished product looks great, but even making it looks fantastic.
Now you can smell that caramel. And then to swirl it, they just take the spoon. Now that's going to go in the oven at 350 degrees for about 20 minutes, not really too long, until it starts to brown on top. Then let it cool in the refrigerator. I'd say maybe a day ahead of time, but you'd want to let it cool for several hours. And there you have a fabulous dessert. And Chris, it serves about 18 people.
Wow.
It's a rich cheesecake, so you slice it into small servings, so you can have a big Valentine's party.
Excellent, excellent. Of course, you mentioned some changes to the Soy Foods Guide.
Yes.
So if folks want this recipe or any of the others, what should they be doing?
They should go to kansassoybeans.org. We have the recipe on our website, or you can call our 800 number, 877-KS-Soybean. And yes, we made some modifications from the original recipe, so be sure to use our recipe.
All right, excellent. Charlene, thank you so much. And we, of course, will have all this information on our website as well, KOAMnewsnow.com. We'll be back with more right after this.
4 States Most Watched News starts now.
Plows and salt spreaders running. Some parts of the state are expected to be hit harder than others. ODOT representatives say they'll be sending resources to where they are most needed, but all major roads will be plowed regardless.
We're getting all of our snow equipment ready today. That means putting the plows and sanders in our trucks, going over all the safety bulletins and topics with our folks. So we'll be ready to get in there and plow later on this evening or tonight, whenever the onset of the storm starts.
Hicks asked drivers to be aware of plow tracks working to clear the roads and to give them plenty of space. The community of Columbus, Kansas rolled up its sleeve yesterday to support a good cause. The Community Blood Center of the Ozarks hosted a blood drive. Across the Ozarks, someone's friend, family member, coworker, neighbor, or loved one needs blood every 7 minutes. Not only do blood drives benefit the community, but sometimes recipients like to reach out and express their thanks for the potentially life-saving gift.
And we actually have a Thank the Donor program that I really like. It sends out I can't remember if it's email or text message, but it sends out a notification to what hospital your blood actually went to, so it kind of helps you know that it's helping people in your community. And then if the recipient decides, they can send a message back to you thanking you. And we have a bunch of people that do that, and I love that program.
Community Blood Center of the Ozarks says eligible donors can give blood every 56 days. And dealing with finances can create stress for many people, but the Miami Public Library tried to alleviate some of that stress through a class yesterday. The library invited the First National Bank to host a class on fraud awareness and scam prevention. This is part of the Financial Literacy Week program. The goal of the program is to give people more information to help themselves financially.
If someone doesn't know how to budget, if someone doesn't know how to budget how many groceries they can purchase a week, if they can't be able to pay all of their bills, and I mean, there's so much to it. So our goal is to help educate our community, to provide the information at their fingertips to be able to make more informed decisions financially.
Experts say Financial Literacy Week is a great way to brush up on the basics of financial literacy, budgeting, savings, borrowing, and banking. Now let's head over to Chris for a quick look at the forecast.
Keeping an eye on that possibility of wintry weather. Not really a possibility. Let's just say we're keeping an eye on wintry weather. It'll be rolling into the area. Right now, you can see our camera downtown Pittsburgh. We got cloudy skies, otherwise not doing too bad. Roads are relatively dry. And the reason that's important is you come down to the station or even down toward Joplin, roads are a bit on the wet side. We had a drizzle all morning long. I encountered it from the time I left home in Joplin until I got to the station. So the concern with that is it could freeze on bridges and overpasses, leading to some slick spots out there. And we're going to have We also have, some reduced visibilities thanks to that drizzle. So you can see where that is. Jasper County, Barton, Newton, parts of southeastern Cherokee County, Ottawa, Delaware, McDonald, Barry Lawrence counties. We have some slightly reduced visibilities courtesy of that drizzle that's falling. We have winter storm warnings, winter storm watches, and then winter weather advisories for everyone else except Newton, McDonald, Benton, Ottawa, and Delaware counties, where it's expected to be warm enough tomorrow that while you could see some wintry weather, it shouldn't be significant. Through today, kind of like the drizzle we've been seeing, not really showing up on the future track nor showing up on radar, but we'll have the opportunity for light snow showers, some drizzle, a light wintry mix throughout the day today. Will otherwise be cloudy, cold, and breezy. Temperatures not moving much from where they are right now, which is already low to mid 30s. Many of us, we're just going to kind of hover in this zone. Now with the winds, our wind chills though already into the 20s. Does feel colder. We got 21, Yates Center and Iola, so feeling much colder up there. As we go through today, again, mid 30s for our highs, scattered snow showers out there, and then we'll have the snow increasing as we go overnight tonight into tomorrow. So by our commute tomorrow morning, that's when we're going to be talking about some impacts from the snow. We'll break down the details on what we know about what's coming in here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. And don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. You can get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, the KOAM Skywatch weather app. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. A New Jersey bookstore owner uses his business to teach customers about Black history. In Consumer Watch this morning, an investor group led by Elon Musk makes a bid to take control of OpenAI. Musk's lawyer says he submitted a bid for $97.4 billion yesterday to buy the nonprofit that controls ChatGPT parent company. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman rejected the offer, and Altman also told employees the company's structure does not allow an individual to take control of it. Musk helped co-fund OpenAI in 2015 with Altman as a charity, but left 4 years later when Altman took over as the CEO. Well, protesters are demanding more regulations on AI outside of the Paris summit. The lobbying group Pause AI are calling for an international treaty to halt the development of AI systems. They say it should be signed by the United States and China, the two leading players in the field. Protesters say they are not targeting consumers, but are calling out the people involved in AI development. The summit continues today. Well, some grocery stores are capping the amount of eggs shoppers can buy. Trader Joe's is limiting egg prices to 1 dozen per customer per day in all of its stores. And the San Francisco Standard reports some Costco's in the area have put a limit on 3 cartons per person. A nationwide bird flu outbreak has led to a shortage of eggs as well as a major price increase for the common grocery item. With a slew of winter weather still in the forecast for parts of the country this week, those with plans to travel may face slick conditions. And while inclement weather can lead to traffic buildups, technology experts say connected vehicle data from cars can help local officials plan for safer roads during these winter months. Fox News' Ted Lindner takes a closer look.
The winter months can trigger bouts of bad weather, making traveling dangerous.
Everybody dreads those ice storms.
And while those behind the wheel may need to take certain precautions, the navigating apps they use and/or computers built in the cars they drive may be collecting and sharing certain data, including their driving habits and locations. Civil engineering experts say it's being used in the name of safety, especially this season.
I'm asked quite often about what are connected vehicles. The most basic information is the position, velocity, and heading of the vehicle. And the reason that's important is everybody looks at Google Maps or Apple Maps and they know green is good, red is bad, and that is connected data at its most basic element, whether it comes in from a phone or whether it comes in from a car. We're at the point right now where about 5% of the cars in the United States are connected.
The data can be organized to show traffic patterns over specific time periods.
And the reason that's of so much value to public agency is you can't afford the resources to manually go out and make those observations all over the place, whereas the cars are collecting that data.
And being able to track and predict congestion on roads during storms can help drivers make more informed decisions.
It provides us a tool to explain to the general public, here's the impact. And we can show speed slowing down, we can show periods of time where the road is totally closed, and then reopening.
Local officials can also better plan for when to send out plows and salt trucks ahead of peak travel times. Ted Lindner, Fox News.
And those are our top consumer stories. Let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 7:43 now on this Tuesday morning. I almost said Wednesday because all of these advisories run through Wednesday. Now again, 5 different weather service offices cover our area. When it comes to severe weather, those watches are issued by our friends in Norman. But when it comes to the winter weather, it's handled locally by the local offices. So we have going through 6 o'clock tomorrow evening, winter storm warnings, winter storm watches, winter weather advisories. Until 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, winter weather advisories. That's Craig, Nowata, and Washington counties in Oklahoma. Then Bourbon, Crawford, Cherokee County, Southwest Missouri. These run through 9 o'clock tomorrow, with the exceptions being McDonald, Newton, Benton, Ottawa, and Delaware counties, where it's expected to be just warm enough that while you will probably see some kind of wintry weather, it's not really going to add up to much down to the south. So, as for today, we're again seeing some light snow showers building in. They're actually starting to show up on radar out in our far western counties. So we're talking now just over Chanute, west of Chanute, down through Greenwood, Elk, and Chautauqua counties as well. We'll have opportunities for light flurries, light snow showers, a light wintry mix throughout the day today, but we're not expecting really much of anything in terms of accumulations. The only thing we're worried about today is we've had some drizzle. Roads are going to get wet because none of this is really going to, again, add up to much. But that could lead to some freezing on bridges and overpasses through the day and into tonight. So do keep that in mind. Our bigger concern with the actual accumulating snowfall comes early tomorrow morning. By 2 a.m., it's starting to roll on in here, coming up from the west to east. And as we go into the first part of our day, here we are at 5 a.m. Wednesday. First, I also want to mention we're going to have early highs tomorrow for many of us, as temperatures are eventually going to fall through the day as we go through our Wednesday. And see, that's what I'm talking about. Down south by 5 a.m., we've got rain, and we've got temperatures warm enough for it to be rain in some of our southern counties. And we get this wintry mix right along I-44, and then we get snow up north of that. And that will eventually transition to all snow. And we'll continue with the snow through the morning. By noon, we've still got some accumulating snowfall, but the bulk of it's starting to wrap up. And the rest of the accumulating snowfall should be done by about 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. And we'll be left with some light snow showers and flurries. So what are we talking in terms of snow? Yesterday, you may recall, we had maybe a dusting across a broad area. We don't even have that now at this point. We have maybe just a little bit of accumulation through tonight. Again, it's going to be tomorrow. We'll start to see all of that add up for us, and that's where we get into that zone of maybe a dusting to 3 inches up to I-44. From I-44 to 54, we're going to go say 3 to 5 inches, and then north of 54, especially into those winter storm warning areas, that's where we could go 5 inches or more. In fact, we're looking at anywhere from 5 to maybe 8 inches in our very far northern counties, with much heavier totals further north. Our camera 7th and range line, roads are wet because we had that drizzle all morning. It does seem to have stopped for the time being. 33 in Joplin, feels like 27. Our temperatures this morning warmer than yesterday, low mid 30s for most of us. Save Viola right now sitting at 29, but our wind chills, all of us sitting into the 20s, so we actually can't really tell that it's warmer this morning than it was yesterday. Wintry mix, the drizzle, the showers, the snow showers, the light flurries, all of that. Temperatures just hovering through the low to mid 30s, and that's where our highs are headed today, about the mid 30s. Not much falling off tonight. We warm up a degree or two tomorrow morning, then temperatures, again, falling slowly through the day. They won't plummet, but they'll gradually fall through the day tomorrow, down into the teens. Much colder Thursday, cold Thursday night, little warmer Friday and Saturday, with maybe some rain chances as we head into Saturday. Let's check your forecast. We'll be back with more right after this.
Known by many in Camden, New Jersey as simply Mr. Larry.
And for more than 3 decades, he's been telling stories and helping teach young students and customers about Black history.
history, children books, religious books.
From bestsellers to cultural classics, Larry Miles has stocked the shelves inside his bookstore full of history.
I feel that there's a need for our people to know who they are.
In 1991, the U.S. Air Force veteran opened La Unique African American Books and Cultural Center on North 6th Street in Camden with the idea of helping his customers and future generations learn more about Black history.
How do you know where to go when you don't know where you came from?
Over the years, Miles has also collected African artifacts and works of art, some more than 250 years old.
This is one of my little treasures, I call.
Behind the bookstore sits his African American Museum, where Miles has hosted church groups and summer camps, teaching them about African American history while showcasing his collection of treasures from across the continent.
I love doing this because I love people's reflections when they see and is able to say, I never knew, or I've always wanted to see.
Miles says business took a major hit since the pandemic. So now at 91 years old, he's drafting up new programs and new ideas to continue contributing to the community and helping pass on his knowledge.
I come here because, hey, someone may come in and need just a tad bit of information that I may be able to give to them to move their day.
Certainly very important to continue those lessons, and it's great to see him for all these years continuing to do that through his little bookstore there.
Absolutely, very cool to see.
Speaking of something that's very cool, that's the temperatures, and for kids, it's the snow. They're like, yeah, all right, let's get some snow. We do have a number of winter weather alerts. Okay, that's what we're going to call them. We have winter weather advisories, we have winter storm watches, we have winter storm warnings. All of them run through varying times tomorrow, but I will point out winter storm warnings, easy to see, they're this bright pink, but what you can't really tell between is winter storm watch and winter weather advisory. I don't pick the colors, okay, that's just the colors they are. These are the winter storm watches right here. Everything else, winter weather advisories. And down south, it's expected to be warm enough that it won't be an issue. Now, throughout the day today, we're going to have light snow showers, a light wintry mix, some light drizzle, light flurries. It shouldn't really add up to much of anything today, but it could lead to some icy spots on bridges and overpasses, so do keep that in mind. By 2 a.m., the snow starts to roll on in, and it will continue. Again, mainly rain and maybe a light glaze of ice to the south, and then we'll get the snow to the north, goes through the morning and into the early afternoon hours out there. So even down south where you don't have those advisories, you'll still probably get some kind of light snow out there, but it won't add up to nearly as much as we're going to get, especially north of 54, along and north of 54. So all of us getting something, just not a lot, but enough that it should be entertaining, at least for the kids. And of course, if there are any school closings or anything, we'll have them on our website and on air as they come in tomorrow. That's a quick check of your forecast. We'll be back with another look at that, plus the news you need to know right after this.
And here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Authorities upgrade charges against Thomas Coy with the death of 23-year-old Amazon driver Jasmine Sky Taylor. Investigators say Thomas Coy confessed to shooting Taylor with a pellet rifle, pulling her from the vehicle and laying her in a ditch. Charges have now been upgraded to first-degree murder and armed criminal action. Coy remains held without bond in Lawrence County Jail. The latest info from the CDC shows flu illnesses have reached the highest level since 2009. Experts say if the flu does visit, be sure to have medicine readily available. Those medications include over-the-counter severe cold and flu, Tylenol, or over-the-counter Delsym. And with the potential for winter weather in the next few days, the Missouri Department of Transportation says they are working to get prepared. ODOT representatives say they'll be sending resources to where they are most needed, but all major roads will be plowed regardless. Drivers are asked to be aware of plow trucks, and to give them plenty of space.
And we'll start seeing some of that wintry weather today. No accumulations expected, but we could get some freezing on bridges and overpasses. Mid-30s, some light snow, light flurries out there will be possible throughout the day and breezy. As we go through the evening, that continues. A wintry mix overnight back down in the low 30s. Still windy tomorrow. Then we see a transition. We've got some rain to the south, a wintry mix along I-44, snow to the north. Temperatures in the low 30s and falling through the day. We'll warm up a little bit by Friday and Saturday. We got some rain chances by Saturday as well. But of course, definitely want to be keeping an eye over the next 24 hours as we start our morning commute tomorrow.
Absolutely. Well, an AI-powered app is allowing visitors to talk to masterpieces. Ask Mona is one of the many AI solutions exhibiting at a global summit in Paris's Grand Palace, which aims to make museums visit conversational, and visitors can ask questions to the app and get an instantaneous response.
Inspired by the Harry Potter novels, in which characters were able to talk to the subjects of paintings, the Ask Mona AI app brings to life grand figures of art and history, such as Victor Hugo, Napoleon, or the Pharaoh Ramses. Certainly interesting, a little bit spooky, I think, but still cool at the same time, for sure. Well, thank you so much for letting us put the good into your morning. We're back with more news and weather today at noon.
Have a great rest of your morning.